So for whoever just joined, this is Federica, part of the Docsity team, and we're just about to start with our live webinar. Today we are connected with KAUST University. We have the pleasure to have with us Dina, international student recruiter at KAUST, and Brian is a PhD student. We will be starting by sharing with you a presentation, and we look forward to receiving all of your questions into the Q&A box, and we will be answering at the end. Dina, I leave you the floor.
All right. Hello, and thank you, Federica, for the introduction. And thank you everyone for tuning in from all these countries. I'm delighted to be here today, along with one of our PhD students, Brian Parrott. So the idea is just to give you an overview of the programs that we offer, the fellowship and partner university, and our partners and courses, life on campus and opportunities available here. So then we will come together at the end and answer your questions. That please just like to stay on top of the questions. Please, if you can just like use the Q&A section on the top or bottom of your screen. Thanks again for joining. I hope you enjoy the presentation. And Brian will be with us today here, and he will share his experience in KAUST. So starting with a short video of KAUST.
Why am I here? Look around. This is where I work. This is where I live. This is where I thrive. Consider the potential. KAUST equips me to pursue the research I want, whenever I want, with some of the most sophisticated equipment located anywhere in the world. My grad students, research staff, postdocs, and academic peers provide me with outstanding support across many disciplines. My research can move from my lab to our research partner. I'm here, but I'm also in many other places, encouraged to collaborate with leading researchers anywhere in the world. Why am I here? Because I want to be in a place with inquiring minds, a place where people want to favorably impact the world around us, where people think, but don't all think alike, where people from Saudi Arabia to Germany, from New Zealand to Mexico, and from China to the US live comfortably, acceptingly, and enjoyably. This place is different. I can learn to play in an Indonesian Angklung ensemble. I can attend a sunset concert of Beethoven overlooking the Red Sea. I can turn my idea into a startup venture. My children's friends are from every corner of the world. I can balance both work and home without having to compromise. Why am I here? Because my kids receive an excellent education in an international baccalaureate school. Because I'm able to experience the quality of life I want. Because my commute is under 10 minutes, whether I drive, walk, ride my bike, or take a bus. Because our kids play in safe neighborhood parks and learn how to become citizens of the world. I'm here because KAUST is my destination. The real question is, why aren't you here?
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Moving on to our next slide. So when KAUST was first built, it was built to tackle problems in Saudi Arabia, Middle East, and mainly the whole world. So our main 5 pillars of research are food and health, water, energy, environment, and digital. And then we have 4 main divisions, which are biological and environmental science engineering, computer, electric, and mathematical science engineering. And we also have physical science and engineering. And then we have like 11 research centers, as you can see below, from Red Sea Research Center to solar centers, visual computing, computational bioscience research center as well. Then I assume in the ads and everywhere you saw that we always talk about our fellowship. So what is KAUST fellowship? KAUST fellowship means that when you apply to KAUST and you get accepted, immediately you receive your KAUST fellowship, which includes full tuition support, which means that you will not need to pay anything to study at KAUST. You will also receive a monthly living allowance. You will have on-campus housing, and you will have medical and dental coverage and relocation support, which is the yearly round trip back home. Moving on to our requirements. So you need to have a bachelor's or master's degree in a relevant field of study. As you know that we are postgraduate university, so you at least need to have finished your undergrads. Then you will need a university transcript from all institutions attended. We know that a lot of you haven't completed might have not completed or might not have received full transcript. So please feel free to send us, when you apply, please feel free to submit your latest application with your latest transcript, and before coming to KAUST, we will be asking for the full transcript. And then we will need the statement of purpose and CV. Statement of purpose should include why are you wanting to study at KAUST, or why are you interested in this major. And then you will need to have a cumulative GPA of 3.5 out of 4.0 GPA scale. And then unless you're from the UK, Ireland, UK, US, Canada, and Australia, you will need to have an English language proficiency test. You will also have to submit 3 recommendations. Recommendations can be submitted from your supervisors or people who you have worked with, peers who have faculty supervisors who have you worked with. Then we have the graduate record exam, the GRE. It is not mandatory, but it boosts up your application as we look at your application as a whole. And if you're applying for a PhD, a research experience, such as a research experience in the lab and so on, would really boost up the application. So moving on to more quick facts on numbers. So we have quite low student to faculty ratio, which is 8:1. And as you know, we're quite a diverse university. We have students from 121 nationalities. And as you can see, like our class size isn't that big, as we're selective on our students, and we only have postgrads. Sorry, yes. So due to our strategic location between continents, we've also been able to build very strong and established global partnership with universities across different countries around the world. So as the student, you will be able to benefit from those professional partnerships we have established. As you can see, we have institutional collaborations from almost all continents. And regarding our rankings and where we are in the world, so based on QS, we're number 1 in the world, citation per faculty. And we have 15 highly cited researchers at KAUST, which is 8% of our faculty. And we are number 1 in A3 ranking for top 20 universities under 20 years. As you know that KAUST was recently established and it's a young university. We have been established in 2009. All right. So as you can see, this is the world map, and this is where KAUST is located. So KAUST is located on the sunny shores of the Red Sea, which is 90 kilometers away from the second biggest city in Saudi Arabia, which is Jeddah. And Jeddah has an international airport that has flights daily from all around the world. So I'm sure that hopefully you won't have like a lot of layovers reaching KAUST. So also we offer free shuttle buses from our campus to Jeddah, which the airport is located in. And it's just like a 1-hour drive. It's a 90 kilometer away. So more about our campus. So this is our campus map. As you can see, like KAUST is a community. KAUST is not only a campus. You can see like where is the campus. So we have residential areas, we have student housing here. We also have like commercial centers, innovation cluster, research parks. And the best thing about this is like you don't have to worry about transportation on campus, because on campus we have like a free color-coded buses. It's like an Uber, but a bus Uber that you can order either by phone, or it has like a fixed schedule where you can just go to the bus stop. All bus stops are like 250 meters away from any destination that you want to reach. And they're all free of charge for all community members. They go to the campus, residential area, commercial centers. They have roads for all around campus. I will just go with you over those pictures quickly, and then we can have our virtual tour. So as you can see, as we said, like KAUST is the work, play, live environment. We are more than just a premier university. Our services and amenities offer exceptional quality of life, from schools to recreational healthcare. We are a community from over 121 nationalities. So you will find something to do and a place where you can belong. So we have KAUST recreational facilities. We have golf course, we have tennis, football, research. We have squash courts, and then we have pools, and they're all free of charge to serve the students. We also have gyms. We have art clubs if you're interested in art. We have wall climbing. And this is the campus diner here. So this is also another more pictures of our campus. So I think it's time to take you on a virtual tour. So I will share my screen, and please let me know if you can.
So meantime, while we actually going to the virtual tour, I can see we started to receive some questions, which is great. Keep writing them into the Q&A box. We will answer them at the end, but keep writing them so you don't forget, and we keep track of them.
All right. Thank you, Federica. So can you guys see my... Yeah. So basically, this is our campus, and this is our campus library. As you can see, like it looks over the Red Sea. And this area here is called the Spine, which has all the student teaching, studying, research facilities. And you can see like the pin over there is the student housing. This is the area mainly located for student housing. And we can just go there right now. Okay, let's go to student housing. And please feel free to write in the comments section if you want to see anything in specific. Sorry, I lost where the student housing is. Yeah, if like just till I find it, I wanted to say that we have also like a bowling alley. We have daycare schools. So we have a health facility that is on campus and equipped with full health equipment for our students. Oh God, I can't see the student housing.
It was down the list a little bit further. I saw it.
It's great as the campus is so big that you have so many facilities that you actually get lost. I mean, like I was actually looking where you were going down. It's like, it's crazy how many services you're offering to students. It's like, I wish I could have studied in a campus like that.
Well, it's never too late, Federica. You're more than welcome to come whenever. So basically, this is our student housing. And each student receive a private bedroom with an in-suite toilet and share a living area with a kitchen as well. So this accommodates from 2 to 3 students, and all amenities are within the tuition. So you will not need to pay for electricity, not to need to pay for water, neither Wi-Fi. It's all equipped for students. And then we can show you the sports arena here. Yeah, this was just in the picture. As you can see, like it's on the canal here, and this is the student housing, and this is the campus there. And you can see that the residential areas are all around campus. It's a very safe place to work and to have your kids here if you're planning to bring your family as well. So let me just check. Can you show us the Engineering and Research Technology Center? Yes, sure. I just wanted to emphasize that we're quite tight on timing. So maybe there's like we'll come back to this virtual interview, and the virtual interview is available on our website. The barcode will be available at the end of the presentation, where you can just like scan the barcode and take a look for yourself. So I will just go back to the presentation now. Yeah, this is more a glimpse of the student accommodation. So basically more about Saudi Arabia and its location and what's close to KAUST. So it's home to UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. So we have Al-Balad, which is in Jeddah, which is 90 kilometers away from KAUST. So it originates back from the 7th century AD. It's located 90 kilometers away from KAUST, and KAUST offers 2 trips a week to visit Al-Balad. We also have Al-Ula, that was founded in the 6th century BC. It's located 590 kilometers away from KAUST. Like I did that drive myself. It's a 7-hour drive, not that long, but the roads were amazing and the trip was worth it. And then you have Rijal Alma. It's a village more than 900 years old. It's located 750 kilometers away from KAUST. So these are pictures of places to visit, not like on the weekend. And then moving to our alumni. So we have 65% of our alumni chose to work as employees, and 23% chose to continue as in an academia setting. So moving forward to our student Brian, who is joining us today to share his experience with us in KAUST. Hi, Brian. Thanks for being here.
You guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Great, perfect. My name is Brian Parrott. So this is my first kind of slide about me. I'm from Seattle in the United States. That's in the upper left corner there, kind of near Canada. So if you think my accent's a little funny, that's why that is. So I'm actually married with 3 kids. This is a picture of my family this summer back in Seattle area. 2 boys and a little girl there. So my undergraduate was a bachelor's in biology. So I was basically working in a biorobotics lab at the University of Washington. Then I came to KAUST for my master's degree in 2010. So I was part of the 2nd class in the university and did a master's degree in chemical and biological engineering. From there, I worked 10 years with Saudi Aramco, basically primarily in robotics R&D. And then just this last year, Aramco actually sent me back to KAUST to pursue my PhD. So I'm now in my 2nd year of the mechanical engineering PhD, working in the robotics lab. So that's kind of the brief summary of where I'm at. If you can jump to the next slide. So basically, as far as research goes, there's kind of 2 sides of what I've been able to do. So first, I was here as a 22-year-old single person working on my master's degree in biology when the university was pretty new, and that was a really cool experience. And I think the 2 big things I wanted to highlight there is basically, first of all, like as far as research goes, like KAUST really has amazing facilities with easy access to them. So, the facilities here are better than probably most universities that I've been to in the US in terms of what equipment is available. And the great thing about it is that everything is accessible. So while I was, just a master's student, doing my work, I needed something done. There's a huge core labs where there are, master's, PhD people that are trained in using all the expensive $1 million equipment that you can basically just go to, and you can either have them run stuff for you, or you can get trained how to do it yourself. And it basically just accelerates your research tremendously. So, in the matter of basically like 6 months while I was working on my thesis, I was able to, identify some, new pathways of metabolism in plants, and, publish a paper on that, that, most people might do that kind of work in their whole PhD, right? Because they'd have to wait for all this equipment, and, there's long lines and all these different things in other universities. Whereas, here it was very quick and easy to get my, samples in, get them analyzed, get turned around, do some more work, send samples back in, good data out, and then publish. So as far as like a quick impact to research, I think that KAUST offers a huge benefit there in terms of core labs. The other thing is because I had access to all these facilities and the help and support to get stuff done, that also then gives you good work-life balance, right? So you're not sitting in the lab until midnight every night working. You're able to go out to the beach, read a book, you go to the gym, play football in the afternoon. Obviously you need to get your work done, right? But there's plenty of time to be able to do all of these things. And, now Dina is kind of highlighting some of the different things that are available. This is that picture was yeah. So, there's the South Beach pictures there. There's the pool that looks over the Red Sea. You can go out on boat trips where you can do snorkeling or diving. I just actually was running late for the meeting because I was at the prototyping lab using a manual lathe, because I'm building like a little like pirate ship for my boys. And so I was able to go there and using the lathe to turn some material that I was going to use, right? All free. There's, faith-based groups. There's, a bunch of fast food and different restaurants that, if you just feel like, oh, I just want to go get a burger, or I want to go get, whatever it is. There's a lot of food on campus. Dina highlighted, Jeddah's an hour away. It's, easy to get to. There's malls, fancy restaurants from all over the world. Cool people. And then, of course, she was highlighting, Al-Ula's close, Taif is close. It's up in the mountains, and so it's cool.
Yeah, there was
during
a
the
picture
summer.
here, but I don't know why it keeps on disappearing.
Yeah, I think it's towards the end. I think it pops up at the end. Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
this is from the cable car. It's basically built on this like cliff leading up into the mountains, and so this is my son looking out the window. Clearly, he's not afraid of heights yet, but I was sitting in the middle of the bench. So, basically there's just a ton of stuff to do. I learned to scuba dive here. In Seattle, people, some people scuba dive, but there it's cold and dark, and I never really wanted to go underwater and, go scuba diving. Whereas here, it's like year round, the water is warm, it's bright, it's beautiful, there's reefs all over. It's a really nice place to be. I didn't really talk a lot about the PhD research because we jumped to this, but I think, as a PhD student, obviously, like that support for your research continues. There's some really cool professors here that are doing some really good work. And so, if you can find, a professor who's doing something that's interesting to you, they're really happy to have, PhD students that, they will support and, help you to succeed. I think that the environment here is not one where, the professors are using you to get more publications out. It's really a good relationship with the professors. And again, like I mentioned with the master's degree, there's the core labs with the, a lot of the different sciences where they can help you do a lot of the analysis and, running samples in this. They also have fabrication workshops. So if you design something, you can have that fabricated, and it's pretty quick and easy. So that just helps you get your research done faster, so you can get more done in less time. So if you can jump ahead, Dina.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
I think that's basically the end of what I had prepared. Yeah, great.
Perfect. So thank you, Brian. That sounds so interesting. So we have a couple of questions in the Q&A box, and they're like specific questions that are directed for you, Brian. So I'll go ahead with the first. How did you find the place being an American?
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, it's a very international community. So like it's not an American community at all, but it's also not weird in the sense of like being foreign or uncomfortable or anything. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's very, very international in the sense that like there are people from all over the world who all speak English pretty much, and they're coming together in a place that is all revolving around the university and the studies there, right?
Yeah. So how do you find it? Like you came here alone and then you got your family. So how do you find how do you find KAUST safety wise?
Yeah. I mean, super safe, right? You know, I mean, like literally, like my children, they're 4.5, so I don't let them wander the community by themselves because I don't want them to get into trouble themselves. But like, I have no fear of their safety from anyone else, right? I mean, it's a super safe place. The people are super nice. You know, you do see kids playing out at the playgrounds, young children, everybody's safe. I mean, it's, you know, the speed limits on campus are like 40 kilometers an hour because, you know, you're not going that far. So you're not really concerned about people getting run over or, you know, crazy drivers or anything like that. You know, everything is very relaxed. And so it's very, very safe. Everybody here is, you know, vetted basically, I guess. And so, you know, I mean, basically, like, you just really don't worry about any of that. You know, my wife is comfortable here. You know, she's able to do everything just like she would in the US, basically. You know, and I think, you know, I don't know how appropriate it is to go into too much detail on this, but I mean, I think that, you know, Saudi Arabia, I think when I first came, was seen as this like very foreign place that was maybe closed off and didn't give people very many freedoms and this sort of thing. But I mean, it's very, very different now than it was then. You know, it's much easier. You know, women can drive. They can, you know, people aren't wearing abayas even out in the community now, whereas before it used to be required. You know, all these different things that, you know, maybe people have, you know, from 10 years ago might say, or 20 years ago might say, oh, you know, I knew somebody who was in Saudi and this and this and this, and like really, it's just not true anymore. It's a very, very nice place to live. Yeah, I mean, and they're not paying me to say that, right? Like it's just true, right? I mean, I wouldn't have stayed here for 12 years if it wasn't.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I totally agree. Like, I feel safe on campus. I can go out, drive. Like, you can see kids on going to school with their scooters, their bicycles, and like we're all just a safe community for adults and kids as well. Thank you, Brian, and thank you for the question. So what's the score of TOEFL? Is TOEFL ITP or IBT? It's TOEFL IBT, and the score should be 79 overall, with at least 17 in all individual sections. I hope I answered your questions, Paulina, and thank you. We also have a question. From Anonymous, can I apply for MS PhD if I'm starting my final semester of undergraduate studies and don't have my degree yet? Yes, as I mentioned, if you only have like your partial transcript, you're more than welcome to apply. And then if you go through the interviews and you get accepted, before coming to KAUST, we will ask you to submit your full transcript. So Mike asked, do we need specific research area for a master's course? For a master's course, you won't require any research area. Alonso asked an interesting question. How is the admission process? So the admission process is you go into our website, check the courses that you want to apply to, and then you will see all the requirements mentioned in our admissions website. When you get, when your application goes through and you get filtered, then you will go to attend an academic virtual interview with one of our faculty and divisions. And then you would have a personal interview, which is with one of our senior representatives from the admission team, and then you will get an offer letter and hopefully be accepted. Farida is asking, how can I know if my application was submitted correctly? If your application misses things, or it has things that are in the wrong places, our admissions team will be in contact with you, and they will work out with you of how you can improve your application. Okay, so Anonymous asked, are there any specific dates for graduate applications? Yes, so our upcoming deadline for spring is on the 7th of January. And we have rounds in admissions. So like when you submit your application, then the round closes, and then you have to submit whenever the round is open. So please make sure to monitor the dates on our website. Okay, Anonymous asked again, do our courses have any age limits? No, we are open to accepting any age. We don't have any age limit requirements to attend our universities. Can I apply if my GPA is 3.0? I thank you for your question, Paulina. So as we said, that we look at the application as a whole. So you might have a lower GPA than what we are looking for, but you might have a good GRE, or you might have a good statement of purpose that will boost up your application. So please feel free to apply. Do you recommend applying even if the GPA is below 3.5? Yes, I do recommend you to apply. As I said, again, we look at the GPA, at the application as a whole. Do I need GRE to apply for a PhD? Thank you for your question, Daniel. No, the GRE is not required, although it just boosts up your application. Thank you for your question, Mike. Mike is asking, when are the applications open and when do you start classes in case you are accepted? So we have a fall semester and a spring semester. The fall semester starts in August and the spring semester starts in February. So it depends on when do you apply. Anonymous is asking, if I applied last year, can I use the same motivation letter? Yes, you can use the same motivation letter, but you can only have like one application per round, like per year. Okay, so Anonymous is asking, what if I'm from Italy and we don't use GPA? Can I apply? Yes, you can apply. Like we have in the admissions team, we have a team that's dedicated to convert your GPA. So please just feel free to upload your transcripts how it is. You don't need to do any GPA calculation. We will do it for you. So Anonymous is asking, if I only applied research internship, will I get also all the benefits shown in the presentation? We're not focusing on internships here, but yes, you will have a lot of benefits that are similar to the benefits that are provided for the full-time program. Giulu is asking, is it possible to take language courses while on campus? If so, can you make some examples, please? Hi, Giulio. Thank you for your question. So all classes on campus are taught in English, but out of like we have a lot of language clubs. There's the Arabic club, French club, if you want to learn Chinese club. I don't know, Brian, if you have ever been in one of the language clubs, but
I've taken some Arabic courses, just basic Arabic courses. I think like those are kind of offered through like community services or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's the one kind of more formal structured classes that I'm aware of. I know they also have for like spouses and stuff, they have like English language courses. So my wife has like volunteered and taught in those. So,
Okay.
both directions there.
Yeah, so they're not within our academic courses, but they're free and as part of the community courses that we provide. Okay, is it mandatory to have approval of working with a professor to be accepted for masters? No, you don't need a faculty sponsor to join us for your masters. But you will need a professor to join us. You will need to have like a PI to join us for your PhD. I'm in bachelor degree of mechanical engineering. Can I apply before graduating, even if I'm in my second year? Thank you for your question. I would suggest that you wait at least for your senior year and then apply to KAUST. That would make more sense for you and for us to apply. All right. Mary is asking an interesting question. I think, Brian, you can help us with that. Why did you decide to stay in Saudi? Can students usually stay?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, basically, like that's two questions. So the first question is, why did I decide to stay in Saudi? And so basically, I was looking at different opportunities around, the world, basically back in the US and Saudi, other places. And Saudi Aramco, which is the oil company here, was recruiting actively from KAUST, right? So they've employed, I don't know what percentage, but a non-trivial percentage of KAUST graduates in various fields, right? Obviously, like I'm not a petroleum engineer. There are petroleum engineers from KAUST that go to work for Aramco. But there's around 1,200 researchers in Saudi Aramco. And, a significant chunk of those are recruited from, places like KAUST. And so basically they made an offer that was a very good offer. And I decided to stay in the kingdom. Always, I mean, when I came for my master's, I thought, oh, I'll go there for 2 years and get a master's with thesis and come home. And then when I signed my contract with Aramco, I said, I'll work for 2 to 5 years and then go home. But, now it's been 10 years and I'm still here and quite happy. I mean, I think really it's like, when you live in an international community, sometimes you realize that it's just really nice to be around people from all over the world. And, the KAUST became kind of home, I guess, right? So it's like, obviously I still go home every summer and I visit my family and, I really enjoy that. Right. But, I'm very, very comfortable here and it's very nice. Like, I really love living here. Can students usually stay? So, I mean, Dina can answer the rules. I believe the rules currently are that students have about a month after graduation to get out of housing.
Yes.
That can be extended if you have an active offer. So, when you're here, you're sponsored by, an employer or by the university. And so if you have an offer from Aramco or something that's like, you've accepted and there's paperwork issues that are taking an extra month, like KAUST is really generous about helping you out, right? So they're never going to like kick you out as long as you're actively working on doing the right thing. I can say that unofficially as the student, right? But, really, I mean, like the people, like everyone at KAUST is trying to help you succeed, right? So it's in their best interest to help you succeed. And so if you're trying to get a job here and like you have a good route for that, of course you can stay. There are also like startups. So some students I know have like started a company. There's the Entrepreneurship Center here, and it's like really one of the best opportunities. So it's like, if you have an innovative idea and you want to start a company, right, like KAUST will support you with that. And then of course you can start a company and transfer to that when you graduate. And of course you would probably stay. And then, people who come for masters, many of them end up staying for PhDs, right? So you might be planning to come for 2 years and end up staying for 5 or 6. Yeah, so I think that's kind of, I hope that answers the question pretty well.
Thank you, Brian.
I think there were also a couple of questions into the chat. So Someone was asking about living costs. So how many dollars is the standard living cost? So like what's usually the cost of living in Saudi Arabia? And then they were also asking about steps to do a doctoral stay. They're just in the chat, so maybe they just got missed. Actually, it's a good reminder to type them into the Q&A so we can keep track of them.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going through the questions. How many dollars per person for the standard living cost? Okay, since I deal with riyals, maybe Brian, you can help us converting that to dollars. So as I mentioned before, that life on campus, it's actually a win situation for students, as we are providing we're covering all your amenities, we're covering transportation, even the housing, like everything is covered within the housing. You will not need to pay for water, you will not need to pay for electricity. Transportation is covered as well. So mainly you will only pay for your own entertainment and food. So Brian, approximately, like when you were doing your, let's say your master's without kids and you were just living a single life. So how much did it cost you to live on campus? Like, were you saving money or was it expensive or?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely save money here, right? I mean, obviously you can always spend more money. And so, I mean, if you want to go and blow your money, you can spend all your money, right? But I mean, it would be hard. I mean, basically, as Dina said, you know, I mean, when all of these kind of hidden expenses are covered, you know, your internet is free, all these different things are free. You know, I mean, you can get a cell phone with, you know, a reasonable number of minutes and data for, you know, like $10 a month or something. You know, and so it's like that service cost is super cheap. You know, on campus, if you eat like the budget meal, which is like way more food than you can actually eat or should eat in a single sitting, it's like $5, right? $5, right? You can get salad bars also in that price range, you know. If you want to eat fancier foods, you know, you can get like grilled salmon at the diner and it's like $15 or something, right? And so the thing is if you kind of look at like that price, you know, on a, you know, let's say you spend $20 a day on food or something, right? You know, it's like that doesn't add up to anywhere close to your stipend. And that's really the only thing that you're routinely paying for is basically your food. So most of your money is going to go towards travel, right? Like, I mean, realistically, what you're going to do is every time there's an Eid break or, you know, different holidays, you're going to be like, oh, let's fly over to Egypt and see the pyramids. Or, you know, like one of the places we found was like Sri Lanka, and it's like a pretty cool place that nobody ever goes to except for when they're living close to it, right? You can go up to Jordan, you can go up to, you know, Turkey, and you know, so I think most students spend most of their money on travel. And, you know, yeah, but as far as like cost to live here, it's very, very affordable.
Thank you, Brian. So Alberto is asking, I'm a PhD student. What are the steps to do doctoral stay for a few months there? Okay, Alberto, thank you for your question. So the postdocs positions are within our HR. So please make sure to visit the KAUST main website, and you will find all details there, as we're only doing academics here. We have another question from Anonymous, which is, I'm bioengineer, chemical engineer in Venezuela. I would like to apply either to Master's in Science in Chemical Engineering or Chemistry. Is it mandatory to have a good research project? As you're applying for Master's, I assume that you will not need to have a specific research project, as long as you know that you know the courses that you're interested in and you want to apply to. Maybe if you want to complete with a thesis, then you will need to have a specific project or a faculty that you want to work with regarding this project. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're coming in for a master's degree, there's no like expectation that you have to have already done research in your undergraduate. You know, if you're trying to do, you know, more of like a direct PhD admission or something, that's probably where they're going to look for that more, would be my understanding. But, I mean, basically, if you come in for a master's degree, you're basically going to spend the first, year taking courses and getting to know professors and this sort of stuff. So you don't really need to worry about the research side of things right away. Even for a PhD, most programs have, a minimum of at least 4 courses you're going to take and qualifier exams and other things. So your first year is really focused on kind of preparing for the research.
And one thing I wanted to actually add is, you mentioned research. Is it a work experience mandatory for whoever is applying to a master's degree, or are you also happy to receive application from fresh graduates?
So for a master's degree, you don't need to have a research experience. The research experience is required for your PhD degree. So if you're applying for a PhD, you must have at least an experience in the lab, or at least you have done a co-op or internship, something related to the project you're interested to.
Perfect. And is there some sort of interview that the students need to pass when they do the application? Do they meet the admission team? Is there anything that you advise them on preparing?
Yeah, sure. So it's a chilled interview regarding the admission. So it's just like a personal interview where we ask what's the student interest, what is he doing if he's not in the lab, why does he want to join? We ask what's his favorite books, some general personal questions. As you know, that we're not only accepting students to be part of our campus, we're also students are also coming to be part of KAUST, which is the whole community. So we just need to make sure that we're all aligned and have the same background. And there's a question from Alonso regarding the age limit. Again, we don't have an age limit for KAUST. Anyone can apply. And regarding, going back to, Frederica, I forgot to mention the academic. So regarding academics, it differs from, there's an academic interview that you need to finish before, after applying. It depends from a division to division. Usually, faculty will ask technical questions regarding the major you applied for.
Perfect. So there is still a few minutes. So if you have questions, keep writing them into the Q box. First of all, I wanted to thank you for all the questions that we're receiving. Still have a few minutes. So if you have any sort of question that you want to ask Dina or Brian, take the opportunity. So one thing that I wanted to ask you, Dina, so Brian before was mentioning about incubator, startup. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it works and how can students access to these amazing plan or projects?
Thank you, Frederica. That's an interesting question. I think, Brian, you can help me with this. So we have an entrepreneurship center that is dedicated for KAUST students. We have boosters that help the students build up, if you have prototype, if you have only an idea and you just don't know how to implement it. So we have a special team for entrepreneurship that will help you to make your ideas come to life. And as Brian mentioned, there are a lot of cases of students that when they finish their research at KAUST, they stay at KAUST because of their entrepreneurship center experience. So they built a startup and they're on campus doing their research they're employed as a full-time job. They're not students anymore. And you will also have one of our famous companies are Idama. Idama is it's a student idea where they took they recycle the trash and they put it into soil. So the soil can be recycled. And then we have the Red Sea farms where they plant tomatoes from salty waters. We also have companies, tech companies and AI companies. We have companies that are working with solar panels, how to clean the solar panels. And we have a famous competition which is called Taqaddam. So it's a starter accelerator where students can apply there, and we will help find people who can fund their projects. Yes, so having a full-time entrepreneurship center on campus is an interesting opportunity to students. Brian,
Great.
anything to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you covered it well. There's like I was friends with one of the guys that was a founder of Falcon Viz, which is basically like a drone imaging kind of startup where they basically went around the kingdom and were like recording, essentially basically documenting a lot of their historical sites that, for future preservation and digitalization. So they were flying around, Alula and getting, millimeter level, resolution of the entire site. Just get some cool stuff like that. Basically it's like, Luca, who was one of the founders, was just a student that joined with me. And, he's now, basically running this company with, 30 or 40 people in it. And I think, really, like, that's one of the coolest opportunities here, right? I have a great job with our EMCO, so I'm not complaining, as it were, right? The startups is really a great opportunity, right? And the kingdom and the university are both really pushing that, and so it's really something that you can really take advantage of if you're interested in that direction of things. And I think it's something that is an important benefit of being a KAUST student and alumni, is that you can really launch a company. There's a lot of support for that. So.
Yes, I totally agree. So I think we have one last question from Luna is, when does KAUST answer the application? How long does it take? So we get a lot of applications through rounds. So please be patient if we haven't answered your application, and we'll get to it as soon as possible. It usually differs from an application to an application. So I don't have a fixed time for how long does the application take to be reviewed, but all applications are reviewed before the start of our next round.
Perfect. So we're coming towards the end of our webinar. I wanted to thank Dina and Brian for their time, and all of you for staying connected and for all of your questions. As you can see, the team is very much approachable. Dina just have 2 QR code. One, there is WhatsApp Q&A 24/7. Then one is the KAUST 360 tour. So we saw at the beginning of the presentation, someone was also asking, can I see more about some research lab? Absolutely, you can take the tour. We recorded the event, so we will be sharing with you the recording over the next few days. And also we will be sending you an email with some interesting questions. So basically we will be sharing with you all the links in case you want to put an application through, in case you want to find out more. There is also a chat box that you can reach out in case you have any questions. And anything that we believe it could be useful, for you in order to have all the information that you might need in case, you want to put an application through to KAUST, or just finding out more. I don't know if Dean and Brian, you would like to add anything to what has been said just before closing the session.
I would just like to thank you all for joining us today. I had the pleasure of being here, and thank you, Brian, for joining us today. Thanks, Federica, for hosting us.
Great. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Brian. Karina just asked the very last questions about scholarships. Maybe should we just one more time explain how it works, and then we can just close the event?
Yeah, sure. So Katerina, scholarships are, we call it fellowships, which is something that you receive directly when applying to KAUST and getting accepted. It includes your tuition fee, it includes your housing, it includes your insurance, it includes your monthly stipend as well, and round tickets, round flights to your home country. Like you get 1 ticket a year, so it includes everything. This is the fellowship we have at campus.
Great. I think this is actually a nice note to close the event. Thank you so much all. We'll keep you posted. We will have some other live events with KAUST, so we will keep you posted onto our next event. And I wish you all a great rest of your day. Thank you all for staying connected, and Dean and Brian for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.